Hey guys, today I'm going to be teaching you guys a little bit about the 6th and 7th thresholds of greater complexity, which are collective learning and agriculture. The 6th threshold of greater complexity is collective learning. Collective learning is when you have knowledge, a thought, an idea in one area or from one person, and it's taken to another area or taken to another person, and they share it to that person or that area, and that area learns these things and the things that the other area or the other person had. And so when there was the Silk Road and there was trading through the Silk Road, there was a lot of collective learning going on there, because you had the merchants who were going through the Silk Road, you had the traders, and they were stopping in villages, and the villagers would teach them something, or they would teach the villagers something. So the villagers are gaining knowledge from these traders, or the traders are gaining knowledge from the villagers. And so one of the collective learning networks we have today is the internet. It's just, a place where there's a ton of knowledge and a ton of stuff. Another example of collective learning is, say you have two groups of farmers. They're both great at what they do. They're both very good farmers, and they come together and they show each other their skills, and some of their skills are different, and then they can combine these skills together and do what they did before even better. So that's a little bit of collective learning. So the next threshold is farming. So collective learning helps farming with the example I already gave, and then also with different farming tools and different kinds of grains and different kind of farming methods. Like in the Americas, how the Native Americans would farm their corn by using fish that they would put in the ground with the corn, so that the fish would decay and they would have a good soil there. The fish would be a good plant feeder. So now we have all this stuff. That's threshold number 6, which is collective learning. So we're going to move on to threshold number 7, agriculture. So threshold number 7, agriculture. Agriculture is farming. So before agriculture, we were a nomadic people who traveled around looking for food. The invention of agriculture allowed people to settle down in one place and to tend their crops, so that they could tend their crops. So before, we were hunters and gatherers, and while we were hunting and gathering, we were moving around a lot, which, since we were moving around a lot, they weren't having a lot of kids, because little kids you have to carry with you, and you just can't take as much abuse, as much weather, as much traveling as adults can. So they weren't having as many kids. So now that we have farming and they can stay in one spot, they need more kids to help them in the fields. So they start having more kids, which grows the population of the earth. So now we have little villages that are popping up, because you have the kids who are learning from their parents how to farm, and then they go off, start their own farm a mile away or so, and then you also have people who are coming in and starting farms there, and so we start getting little gatherings of people, which are the first villages. So now there's too much food for just those farmers to eat, so this allows other people to stop farming and pursue other careers, such as trading, blacksmiths, other trades, and we get priests now, because we have somebody that can teach these people about a god or a religion, and we have lots more crafts, and we have a lot more resources now because of farming. Because we can have people that don't have to farm, and these people that don't have to farm are also helping there be more farming. They're growing they're able to bring more stuff in, and they're able to bring better tools, better farming equipment, and better farming methods through collective learning. And so this is growing our populations, and now we start getting civilizations. We start getting, leaders for these places, because now we don't need everybody to be farming. And I mean, there has to be a law now that, food is worth something, and people can't just go around stealing stuff. So they need law and they need order. So now they start having leaders, and these leaders are leading their cities. Now we're having city-states, and these all came about, all of this, because of farming. If you think of, anything, its beginnings was because of farming. If you think of, let's say, the Romans never would have come around if it wasn't, well, the Romans would have come around, but the Empire of Rome never would have come around if there hadn't been farming. They just wouldn't have evolved into that society, into that country. So with farming, we're able to do a lot more stuff. We can have politicians, we can have laws, we can have people who are trading and making more tools. So the reason that threshold number 7 is a threshold, agriculture is a threshold of greater complexity, is because if you think of all the things we have today, most of them wouldn't be around if we didn't have agriculture. So that's a very important threshold. Thank you guys for watching this. I will see you at the next student presentation. Thank you. Bye.